ChatGPT is back and running the Smackdown vs. Raw 2011 universe. The AI engine, doubling as our booker, last left us with a WrestleMania card that was exciting, dramatic, and filled with personal feuds. This has left us with some unfinished business. Who can stop Sheamus? What's next for The Undertaker? Can D.H. Smith finish his story? Get cozy, as we're about to go through the aftermath of ChatGPT's WrestleMania, where we will arrive at SummerSlam. Let's get into it. To open up Backlash, Shelton Benjamin has emerged as the challenger to Kofi Kingston's Intercontinental Championship, and we're set with two veterans of the ring clashing with one another to prove who is the rightful champion. Both men brought everything they had, and left any ounce of quit in the locker room. After a physical contest, Shelton Benjamin became the new Intercontinental Champion. Sheamus has been on a path of destruction ever since becoming United States Champion, and one of his toughest challenges yet may be his smallest, Rey Mysterio. The former World Champion is determined to be the one to dethrone Sheamus, and that is a task much easier said than done, as Sheamus takes care of business and secures his championship. The Miz has managed to find himself back in the tag team title picture, and this time he's got the backing of the Big Show. The former world champion Big Show displayed his raw power and dominance that not even the Big Match Johns could go toe-to-toe with. However, it was going to take more than a few slams to put away these tag team champions. Cena and Morrison fought back, and in the end, it was John Cena delivering the FU to the Miz to retain the tag team titles. Triple H's victory at WrestleMania and Randy Orton's exclusion from the card caused this old rivalry to resurface when Randy Orton decided to make it his mission to take out the game, refusing to be overshadowed by anyone. The devious Randy Orton would attack Triple H before the match even had the chance to start. Triple H tried to fight back, but multiple RKOs had done the damage to keep the game down. Our next match, the WWE Championship, is on the line. Edge had shut the book on the story of David Hart Smith, but as champion, the next man is always waiting for his chance. Christian would make the jump from SmackDown to Raw and challenge his old friend to a championship match. Christian disapproves of Edge's actions as of late, and is determined to prove himself worthy of the gold. Christian would deliver an inspiring performance that makes you think maybe he really does deserve to be in the main event, but Edge has been on top of his game and was prepared for a fight. This was a great match, but Edge would ultimately hang on to the greatest prize in the business. The only WrestleMania rematch on this Backlash card is between the Dead Man and the Straight Edge Superstar. While CM Punk couldn't get it done at WrestleMania, he is determined to regain the championship he held just over a month ago, and his defeat has only motivated him further. The Dead Man, however, stands firm in his resolve to defend his championship against all challengers. Regret begins to set in for CM Punk, but he's come too far to fall back down to the bottom of the pecking order. These two put on another great match, where CM Punk was ultimately able to hit the GTS on the Phenom and reclaim the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H addresses his loss at Backlash, expressing frustration and promising to get even before Chris Jericho interrupts, stating he deserves a shot to get noticed. This leads to a tense confrontation between the two. The team of Yoshitatsu and Evan Bourne defeat Mark Henry and MVP in tag team action. David Hart Smith takes on Rey Mysterio in Rey's first match back on Raw, with the presence of the Animal ringside. D.H. Smith couldn't complete his story at WrestleMania, and with enough doubters as it is, Smith is really going to have to grind to get himself back in the title picture. With a victory over the former world champion and an exciting contest, D.H. Smith is headed in the right direction. In the Raw main event, Sheamus holds an open challenge for the United States title, and it is answered by SmackDown's resident Big Red Machine. This was an extremely physical match between two bruising competitors. When the dust had settled, Sheamus found himself victorious once again. Over on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre makes light work of Chavo Guerrero in the opening match, and later states that he is coming for championship glory. Following their loss at the pay-per-view and failing to capture the tag team titles, the team of Showmiz would pick up a victory over Crime Time, which would keep their names in the title picture. CM Punk is addressing the WWE Universe, celebrating his recent victory over The Undertaker to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. However, his celebration is interrupted by The Undertaker's eerie gong, hinting at unresolved issues between the two. The main event of SmackDown features Cody Rhodes challenging for the Intercontinental Championship against the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin. Cody Rhodes is a former champion who feels he never got his proper rematch after losing at WrestleMania. Shelton Benjamin is determined to add some prestige back to the title, and didn't hesitate to accept the challenge. In an exciting contest, a victorious Shelton Benjamin was able to further frustrate an already irate Cody Rhodes. To open up Monday Night Raw, Christian addresses the WWE Universe, reflecting on his recent loss to Edge at the pay-per-view. He expresses his determination to bounce back and regain momentum. Evan Bourne and Yoshitatsu have been working hard to move their way up the tag team ranks. A big opportunity presents itself as Evan Bourne is squaring off one-on-one against one half of the tag team champions. With a victory here, Bourne and Tatsu would definitely have the champ's attention. John Morrison kept fighting, but Evan Bourne was able to get the huge singles victory. Tag team action in the next match, D.H. Smith and Rey Mysterio taking on Batista and Tyson Kidd. This is a battle between two pairs of former friends. Smith and Kidd had been separated as a tag team for some time, and Batista is disgusted that Ray would be willing to team with David Hart Smith. Nobody is going to go down easily in a personal match like this, and these two teams threw just about all they had at each other. In the end, Rey Mysterio would hit a 619 on Tyson Kidd to secure the victory. Chris Jericho joins commentary at ringside for the main event, where Triple H faces off against Randy Orton in a highly anticipated rematch from Backlash. Both of these men deem it their destiny to be the WWE Champion. This time, however, there is no definitive winner and the match ends in chaos as Chris Jericho interferes, attacking both Triple H and Orton, leaving both men down to end the show. Kane takes on Vance Archer to open up the next Smackdown. This is not the first time these two have gone after one another. Kane is looking to regain that monster aura of his, while Vance Archer is looking to make a name for himself here on Smackdown. It was intense, but Vance Archer was the one to walk away from the contest victorious. The next match featured the Intercontinental Champion and the Women's Champion, a mixed tag team match between Shelton Benjamin and Mickie James taking on Cody Rhodes and Women's Champion Michelle McCool. This was a unique clash between champions and contenders. Neither team was willing to give an inch. However, there was a team that was going home on the losing end, and that team was Cody Rhodes and Michelle McCool after the Gold Standard delivered a super kick that would end the match. The main event of Smackdown has The Miz squaring off against Jack Swagger. Both of these men have backup in their corner, although their managers would quickly get tossed out by the ref, leaving this one mano a mano. Both men are trying to get the leg up and earn an opportunity to compete for the World Championship, so they laid it all on the line in this one. Eventually, something had to give, and The Miz was able to get the pin despite needing the support of the ropes. In a shocking scene, The Undertaker was found unconscious backstage. This would end the show with a ton of questions. The following week on Raw opens up with the WWE Champion Edge gloating about his victory over Christian at Backlash. Christian would interrupt and challenge Edge for a rematch, though it was announced the main event would determine the #1 contender for Extreme Rules. D.H. Smith would be excluded from this big main event, showing that he still has work to do to establish his name and reclaim his spot as contender for the WWE title. Thus, he would take on Ted DiBiase Jr. in singles competition, and he would get the victory. After the match, Smith extended a sign of respect, though it was rejected. Sheamus defends his United States Championship against a formidable opponent in Mark Henry. The main event of Raw held a huge battle royal to determine the next contender to face Edge at Extreme Rules for the WWE Championship. Former world champions littered the ring, and with all of this star power in one place, anything could happen and anyone could emerge victorious through all of the chaos. This was an extremely eventful battle royal where already tense relationships had worsened. When it came down to the end, it was Randy Orton who was able to eliminate Batista to give himself the world title opportunity at Extreme Rules. Over on Friday Night SmackDown, we've got Drew McIntyre taking on Matt Hardy in a vicious Falls Count Anywhere match. Drew is determined to make a name for himself, and Matt Hardy is a savvy veteran who isn't going to back down from anyone. McIntyre seemed to have control when an angry Kane entered the match, behavior we've seen before. Kane went after Drew McIntyre, and Matt Hardy decided to take advantage and get the cover for the win in a surprising sequence of events. The teams of Sheamus and Swagger and Ziggler will clash to determine who has got the leg up in the tag title contention ladder. We just saw a singles bout between Swagger and Miz last week, so these teams are very familiar with one another. Swagger and Ziggler were eventually able to isolate The Miz and seem to have taken control. However, The Miz was able to tag in his giant ally, and Big Show absolutely took over from that point. Unleashing pain, Big Show was able to cap off the victory for his team. To end the night, CM Punk issued an open challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship, feeling rather confident. This is an interesting decision given what happened to The Undertaker last week. To answer the challenge, it was an angry Kane, someone we've already seen this evening. It was not hard to see this was not the same Kane we've seen the past few weeks taking losses. This time he is focused, fueled with rage. So much so he intentionally disqualified himself, making it seem that it wasn't about the championship in this match, but inflicting pain. Is Kane seeking vengeance for The Undertaker? Does he think the Straight Edge Society is responsible? Or has he just become fed up with the losses? Monday Night Raw opens up with Randy Orton cutting a promo regarding his newly earned WWE title match this Sunday. He is then interrupted by both Triple H and Chris Jericho. As the three engage in a heated confrontation, it's announced that Orton will put up his #1 contendership against Christian later tonight. To kick off the in-ring competition, Rey Mysterio is set to take on R-Truth in a one-on-one contest. After an exciting bout, Rey is able to hit the 619 and achieve victory. However, Batista crashes the party and attacks his former friend, claiming that Rey has become soft and undeserving of any spotlight. The next match has David Hart Smith once again in the ring to prove he can hang in the main event scene. Our boy has got to take on one half of the the tag team champions, John Cena. This is a huge opportunity and a blockbuster match for Smith, and he wasn't going to take this lightly. Smith was on his game and definitely seemed ready for the big time here against a more than worthy opponent. Despite a valiant effort, Smith comes up short against Big Match John, but earns his respect for a hard-hitting performance. The main event of Raw has got major implications on the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. If Randy Orton loses here, he loses his #1 contendership he earned the week prior. Christian has been determined to earn a rematch against Edge, and has been gifted an opportunity here to regain that spot. Both Triple H and Chris Jericho made their presence known throughout the match periodically, as Triple H joined as a manager and Chris Jericho even hopped onto commentary mid-match. With these shenanigans at play, Christian was able to score a huge victory here and confirm his date with Edge for the WWE title. Smackdown opens up with Kane declaring vengeance upon whoever attacked The Undertaker 2 weeks ago, and vows not only to find out who did it, but to send them to hell. Shelton Benjamin prepared for his Intercontinental title defense in 2 days with a match against the sly Chavo Guerrero, who pulled out all the stops possible. While it may not be wise to compete 2 days before defending his title, the Gold Standard gets the win here despite Chavo's underhanded tactics. CM Punk and Luke Gallows make it to the ring and claim their innocence in the Undertaker situation, and claim that after Kane's attack, they are probably more of a victim than The Undertaker at this point. Kofi Kingston takes on The Miz in the next contest. While this match would typically be fairly competitive, The Miz is not rolling alone. Even though this is slated as a one-on-one match, The Miz and Big Show hardly treat it as such. Ultimately, Kofi cannot overcome the number disadvantage, and The Miz picks up the victory, seeming as though he feels immortal. Kane meets Drew McIntyre in a no DQ match to cap off the night heading into the pay-per-view. Drew McIntyre is looking for some revenge after Kane sabotaged his match last week and made him look like a fool. Normally, McIntyre would match up well against the Big Red Machine, but Kane is on another level and you can see the anger within him. Kane steamrolls the Chosen One, but is attacked shortly after by the Straight Edge Society, which certainly does not play into their innocence. Opening up Extreme Rules, Mickie James challenges Michelle McCool for the Women's Championship. Mickie and Michelle have been at odds with one another, and somebody's going home as a definitive champion. While both ladies have justifiable claim to their championship stake, there can only be one. These two knew that, and were prepared to leave it all on the line for the glory that comes with being champion. While Mickie James is something of a legend in her own right, this was Michelle McCool's night, and she will go home still the women's champ. Shelton Benjamin has been carrying a lot of momentum as of late, and Cody Rhodes aimed to deplete that momentum by attacking Benjamin before the match had started. With this being a ladder match for the title, I'm not sure how it'll get suspended above the ring, but I guess that is inconsequential in determining who will be the Intercontinental Champion. Shelton Benjamin refused to allow Cody Rhodes to steal a cheap victory, and came at the young superstar with intensity. But Cody Rhodes has been champion before, and he's looking to reclaim the title, but maybe more importantly, the notoriety. In an exciting ladder match, Shelton Benjamin arguably outperforms Cody Rhodes, but the cunning and opportunistic star would become the new Intercontinental Champion. Huge tag team contest upon us here where two massive teams go at it in an attempt to be recognized as the top tag team in the WWE. The rules here are simple: slam your opponent through a table and go home as champion. These are two top tier teams already, and the fact that they've had underlying issues in the past adds another layer to this match. There were multiple close calls in this match and neither team was willing to give an inch, though in the end the team of Sheamus was able to successfully end the match in their favor, crowning new tag team champions. Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, and Triple H square off in a brutal Falls Count Anywhere triple threat. This monumental triple threat consisted of 3 former world champions and bore no restrictions or rules. Anything goes in this chaotic encounter, and each competitor has good reason to give everything they've got into re-establishing themselves as a rightful contender to the WWE Championship. There was no physical expense spared when it came to these 3 future Hall of Famers, and when the smoke had cleared, Triple H was the one to raise his hand in victory. In the Smackdown main event, CM Punk is faced with the daunting task of defending his world championship against Kane whilst trapped in a steel cage. Kane has been on a tear as of late, causing as much destruction as possible and looking to avenge The Undertaker, and CM Punk and the Straight Edge Society are looking like prime suspects. Kane is menacing enough as is, but when you turn him into an emotionally charged monster, bad things are bound to happen to anyone in his way. While Kane was absolutely bringing it to the Straight Edge superstar, CM Punk is the champ after all, and possesses the savvy and cunning to hang on with anybody in any situation. Despite the beating he had taken, he still managed to push through and fight back. In a surprising end, CM Punk was able to barely get his ass out of that cage through the door and squeak out a victory to hang on to the World Heavyweight Championship. To close out the show, ChatGPT truly booked a banger. Christian challenging Edge for the WWE Championship in a TLC match. In true Edge fashion, he wasted no time in gaining whatever hand up he could on his opponent, though Christian is determined to capture the championship gold, and it would be an even sweeter victory if he could pry it from his former tag team partner. This hectic TLC environment is nothing new to these superstars, as we're all aware of what these two mean to the history of this match. Regardless of who comes out the victor in this one, both men will be reeling from the effects of this match. But when it was all said and done, Edge was able to do just enough to retain the WWE Championship. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep this content coming. Thanks! To open the first Raw following the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, Chris Jericho takes on Evan Bourne, but Jericho doesn't give this match a chance after executing a sneak attack before the match gets going, and Jericho gets the quick dub. Sheamus holds an open challenge, which is answered by John Morrison coming fresh off a loss. The United States Champion has been a dominant force ever since becoming champion last year, though he has not had the pressure of competing against a big match John. A former tag team champion is looking to reclaim some gold. While Morrison certainly offered Sheamus more of a challenge than he had become accustomed to, Sheamus prevailed and came out on top. The main event of Monday Night Raw consists of two men who have not only faced before, but were excluded from the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Shawn Michaels and D.H. Smith were eager to prove that this was a mistake leaving them in catering over the weekend. D.H. Smith has yet to prove his doubters wrong and is still determined to become world champion, but Shawn Michaels has got something to prove not only to his peers but to himself, to prove that he is still the showstopper. David Hart Smith hit a huge power slam followed by an explosive T-bone suplex, but Batista came down to the ring with a plan to interrupt the match. However, Rey Mysterio, who now has issues with the Animal, came to neutralize the threat to the main event. It was an exciting, competitive match, but D.H. Smith emerged victorious here. Smackdown opens up with Kane taking on Dolph Ziggler in singles competition. Kane is still fuming over the events that occurred in the steel cage match nearly a week ago, and is aiming to take out those frustrations on the former tag team champion. Kane was doing damage here and was looking to wrap things up, but the interference by Drew McIntyre would cause this match to end early. The Miz and Big Show are gloating backstage, praising themselves and challenging any teams that want to step forward. Kelly goes one-on-one with Mickie James next, and Mickie James is looking to regain positioning in the women's ranks. Mickie James is aggressive and relentless with her offense, and picks up the win in singles competition here. The main event of Smackdown, CM Punk sends his boy Luke Gallows to battle for him against Shelton Benjamin, who is looking to redeem himself following his pay-per-view loss. This was a clash of contrasting styles, but ultimately Shelton Benjamin picked up the victory and is able to maintain some relevance despite being without the Intercontinental Championship. Randy Orton takes on his former protege Ted DiBiase Jr. to kick off the next episode of Monday Night Raw. Orton has been determined to get back on top and handles business in this one. David Hart Smith addresses the WWE Universe, expressing his determination to continue his pursuit of the WWE Championship and overcome any obstacles on his path to glory. William Regal, R-Truth, and Chris Jericho clash to determine who will earn the right to call themselves #1 contender for the United States Championship. Sheamus has been on a dominant streak as of late, so whoever gets the victory will need to come correct when the time is right. Jericho and Regal seem to enjoy taking turns beating on R-Truth, until Regal caught Jericho napping and picked up the victory and earned himself a title match. In the main event, the issues between Edge and Christian continue as a tag team match is held. Edge has Tyson Kidd backing him up, whereas Christian will be tagging with Rey Mysterio. Christian and Mysterio provided electrifying offense and fended off Tyson Kidd's most successful of maneuvers, and it was clear that Edge wanted no part of Christian with his deliberate tagging out. Christian was able to hit the kill switch on Tyson Kidd and secure the victory to end the night. To start off our Friday night, Jack Swagger found himself competing against Chavo Guerrero. Chavo never had a chance, and Swagger showed an aggressiveness we haven't seen from him recently as he cruised to a victory. In the following match, we've got Kofi Kingston taking his swing at the Intercontinental Champion, Cody Rhodes. The title is on the line, and you can believe that Shelton Benjamin will be keeping an eye on the results of this contest. Cody and Kofi are very familiar with one another, but didn't shy away from coming at each other and putting on an exciting match. Cody has been cooking as of late, and will continue to ride high, picking up the victory here. Kane headlines the main event tonight, as he is sure that the Undertaker's attacker is the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk. Kane is teaming alongside Shelton Benjamin here to take on Luke Gallows and Drew McIntyre, who stepped up and volunteered to fight for Punk as McIntyre is looking to get his hands on Kane. This was a physical match, and ever since Kane has been seeking vengeance for The Undertaker, he has been performing on a different level. McIntyre and Gallows did what they could, but the duo of Kane and Shelton Benjamin took the victory to close out the show. To open up Raw, Sheamus continues his dominance with a victory over Zack Ryder. We've got a huge clash on our hands in the next match. Batista has been a catalyst of catastrophe in the recent months, and he's got issues with most guys on the roster. But here, Batista is caught between Rey Mysterio and David Hart Smith in a triple threat match. With serious championship implications on the line, this was a crucial match for every competitor involved. After a hard-fought battle, David Hart Smith came out as the winner. Main eventing the night, Edge defends his WWE Championship against John Cena. While it's a bit of a random match, Cena is a formidable competitor, and a match between he and Edge for the WWE title is not something that typically disappoints. Cena had fought hard, but Edge prevailed and remained champion. After the match, Triple H confronts Edge at the stage and claims he deserves a title match not only for his victory at Extreme Rules, but at WrestleMania as well. Shelton Benjamin taking on Vance Archer to open up Friday Night Smackdown. Archer is an ally of the Intercontinental Champion, and Shelton Benjamin is the #1 contender to the title, so if Archer can do some damage to Benjamin here, he would be doing his friend a favor. However, Benjamin came to handle business, and secured the victory after hitting a T-bone suplex. Benjamin's actions seem to have been bringing outside attention as well. Tag Team Champions Miz and Big Show take on Matt Hardy and Kofi Kingston in a non-title matchup. The team of Show Miz continue to roll on as they pick up the victory here. Kane and Drew McIntyre were found brawling backstage, where Kane walked away with the upper hand. The final match of the evening will put the World Heavyweight Champion in action. No substitutes, going one-on-one with Jack Swagger. Swagger has been lurking back around the singles division and is looking to make a big splash with a victory over the champ. Swagger turned in a good showing, but the champion was able to make a statement after hitting the GTS and taking home the victory to end the show. The final Raw before the next pay-per-view. William Regal goes one-on-one with Evan Bourne. Regal would go on to solidify his status as #1 contender to Sheamus' United States title with a victory. The Big Match Johns have requested their rematch for the tag team titles against the Smackdown duo of Show Miz. These two competed just days ago, but they are tasked with a big challenge here. These are two very talented tag teams, and it could go either way, but in the end it was the champions who were able to get the edge on the Big Match Johns. The main event features more tag team action, this time a 6-man tag team match. Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, and David Hart Smith round out one team, whereas Chris Jericho, Randy Orton, and Batista form the second. This was a big-time matchup between potential contenders who are all looking to stand out amongst the pack. In the end, it was David Hart Smith and his team to handle business and get the victory walking into the Bash. Vance Archer, Matt Hardy, and Drew McIntyre compete in a triple threat to open up the final Smackdown before the Bash. This was a highly competitive match, but Drew McIntyre has been nearly unstoppable as of late and picks up the victory here. Beth Phoenix and Mickie James square off to determine the next #1 contender for the Women's Championship, and the champion is even present for this one. One of these ladies will have the chance to once again become champion in the very near future. Beth and Mickie laid it all out on the line, but in the end it was Beth Phoenix to come out on top. Kane vs. Luke Gallows is our match to main event Smackdown before we dive into the pay-per-view. As of now, there is no formal challenger to step to CM Punk at the Bash. If Kane can pick up a victory here, there may be no choice but to give the Big Red Machine another chance at the world title. Kane was cruising and looking to seal the match with a chokeslam until The Miz and Big Show would interfere, giving Kane the victory by DQ. While this victory would technically award Kane with the title opportunity, The Miz would overshadow this fact with a harrowing confession. He is the mastermind behind the attack on The Undertaker. The Miz claimed he and Big Show eliminated The Undertaker to carve a path for their dominance, and that they are just getting started before the show fades to black. Our next pay-per-view opens up with the Intercontinental title on the line in another match between Cody Rhodes and Shelton Benjamin. This intense feud last saw Cody Rhodes dethroning Shelton Benjamin as the champ, and Benjamin is invoking his rematch clause to challenge Rhodes for the title on a bigger stage. These two are no strangers to one another, leading to an exciting clash that wasn't going to be easy for either of them. And after a competitive match, it was Shelton Benjamin regaining the Intercontinental Championship yet again. In the next contest, the dominant United States champion Sheamus puts his title on the line against the tactical William Regal, who had scratched and clawed his way into contention. These two went tit for tat throughout this match, refusing to be outdone by the other. William Regal had a counter for just about every hold Sheamus attempted, and this would greatly frustrate the champion. Maybe he's finally met his match, though Sheamus is no slouch himself, and made it incredibly difficult for Regal to get any offense of his own. Ultimately, Sheamus gained enough momentum to execute some high-impact moves and successfully retain the United States Championship. Batista and Rey Mysterio have been been at odds since Batista's attitude had soured. Their paths have intertwined yet again, bringing us this steel cage match, in a battle between not just two former friends, but two former world champions as well. This was a personal contest with two contrasting styles. The power and ferocity of the animal going up against the finesse and agility that nobody possesses quite like Rey Mysterio. After an intense match with some seriously close calls, Rey's able to find a way to escape this encounter with his hand raised in victory. The bitter rivalry between Randy Orton and Chris Jericho reaches its boiling point as the superstars clash in a high-stakes no DQ match. These two have fallen short of the main event expectations they hold themselves to, and that frustration has spilled into a brutal contest. The intensity of Y2J and Orton's lack of empathy will keep these two from holding anything back in this attempt to re-establish their spots near the top of the card. It wasn't easy, but Chris Jericho was able to walk out of this match victorious. Last Friday, Kane earned a victory via DQ against Luke Gallows, which technically would have put him in a position to challenge CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, due to The Miz's shocking confession that he was the one behind The Undertaker's attack, Kane opted to take this match against the A-lister. This is a Falls Count Anywhere contest, and The Miz may live to regret his decision to come clean. Kane was beating The Miz up and down the ring area, though The Miz was able to stay in the match long enough to capitalize on Kane's blind rage. With a little assistance from Drew McIntyre, The Miz hit a huge swinging neckbreaker off of a ladder and through a table to finish Kane. The main event of the evening, a WWE Championship match where Edge will defend against not just one, but two challengers. Triple H couldn't wait for the opening bell and this match was underway. Christian and Triple H each have their reasons for being in this match. Christian chasing redemption of losing to his friend on two different occasions and now needing to prove himself, while Triple H is aiming to once again become champion that he felt was unjustly lost all of those months ago within the Elimination Chamber, and has had this right to a title match since WrestleMania. Edge has faced multiple challengers since becoming champion and intends to hang on to that indication for even longer. This was an exciting triple threat match where personal vendettas and championship aspirations collided in this intense showdown, and nobody was going to back down. However, only one could walk out of the arena as WWE Champion, and it took everything he had, but Christian was able to come through with the shocking upset and is crowned the new WWE Champion. Triple H is clearly unsatisfied, but that changes nothing. Christian is the new champion. Raw opens up with the new WWE Champion Christian speaking with the audience, vowing to defend the title with honor. Chris Jericho interrupts the championship celebration and reminds Christian that with his victory over Randy Orton, he has reason to be considered for a title shot. In the first match of the night, the Big Match Johns will take part in tag team action against the reuniting team of Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase. The match is intense, with tensions running high between Cena and Orton as the long-standing rivalry is flared up. Ultimately, Cena and Morrison take home the victory. David Hart Smith defeats Yoshitatsu in singles competition. After the match, Smith is confronted by Sheamus, who was busy gloating about his pay-per-view victory, taunting Smith that he is not worthy of a title shot or even a spot on the pay-per-view match card. In the main event, Triple H challenged Chris Jericho to determine the true #1 contender, with hopes of leaving any speculation to rest. After an intense contest, Chris Jericho was able to pull one over on the game. Michelle McCool puts her women's championship on the line against Beth Phoenix to open up the next Smackdown. Phoenix earned this title match weeks ago and is finally getting her shot at holding glory once more. This match has caught the eye of Mickie James, but there will be no shenanigans in this title match. These two turned in a highly competitive match that in the end saw Beth Phoenix as the new women's champion. Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger go to battle against the makeshift team of Kofi Kingston and JTG. While Kingston and JTG do not tag regularly, they seem to have enough chemistry to give the former tag champs a run for their money. The match showcases the athleticism and competitive spirit of all four superstars, and ultimately we would see the team of Ziggler and Swagger walk away victorious. It's time for SmackDown's main event. The Miz will go head-to-head against the new Intercontinental Champion, Shelton Benjamin. The Miz, still reveling in his victory over Kane at the pay-per-view, looks to continue his momentum as he sets his sight on the World Championship. This will be much easier said than done with the gold standard standing in front of him. The Miz has been on a roll lately, but so has his adversary, and a victory for Shelton here could give him the opportunity to become a double champion. However, when the smoke cleared, it was The Miz standing tall. Opening up the next episode of Monday Night Raw, David Hart Smith defeated William Regal in an attempt to earn the chance to face Sheamus to end his reign of dominance. Christian announces an open challenge to anyone who thinks they can step to the new champion, inviting whoever is confident enough in themselves. This gesture creates a buzz amongst the locker room and garners interest from various superstars. Gail Kim successfully defended her Divas Championship against Brie Bella. The final match of the night would be Randy Orton taking on John Cena. The personal animosity that was seemingly dormant between the two was resurrected last week after a tag team match the two were involved in, and Orton is determined to prove the loss was due to DiBiase Jr. These two would give it everything they had to prove who was the better superstar, but in the end it would be the Viper walking away the victor. Kicking off SmackDown, Intercontinental Champion Shelton Benjamin will be facing against a familiar foe, Vance Archer. Benjamin looks to prove himself as a fighting champion by overcoming the challenge, while Archer is hoping to improve his own positioning on the card. This was a hard-hitting match where Shelton Benjamin would secure the victory. In our next contest, Kane and Mike Knox challenged The Big Show and Drew McIntyre. Kane is still irate after the events that had transpired with The Miz, and is not done with him or his boy The Big Show. McIntyre still has Kane in his sights though, so Kane is in need of backup. In a physical contest, the team of Kane and Mike Knox take home the victory. Main eventing the night will be a #1 contenders match to determine who will challenge CM Punk at Night of Champions. The Miz is set to go one-on-one with the All-American American, Jack Swagger. Both men have clear championship aspirations, but only one can move on and carry the hope of crowning a new champion at the pay-per-view. Dolph Ziggler had Jack Swagger's back, but it was The Miz who managed to get away with the victory here. Next week on Raw, Sheamus opens up the show with a dominant victory over Zack Ryder. Mark Henry is set to go one-on-one against the Viper Randy Orton. Orton has been determined to get back into the WWE title hunt and just last week picked up a big victory in the main event. Orton continues to look like a top-tier superstar while picking up another victory here. Main event time. Steel cage match between Edge and Batista. Two men who have intentions of challenging Christian for the WWE title in his open challenge he's issued. Both of these guys will do whatever it takes to get their name back in the champion's circle. While Batista's efforts centered around his brute force, Edge's sly offense was able to score him a pin opportunity as he came up big and picked up the victory. Over on SmackDown, Chavo Guerrero is challenging Shelton Benjamin. While this is a non-title match, Guerrero is determined to get his name in the title picture and will do whatever it takes to get there. However, it is the Gold Standard who will walk out of this one victorious. The Miz enters the ring and challenges any superstar who is brave enough to step up. Matt Hardy would fearlessly answer this challenge, but Miz would quickly reveal his challenge was for a handicap match, and Hardy would take a tough loss. The main event of SmackDown features Big Show pulling double duty as he takes on Kane, trapped in a steel cage. The list of enemies Kane has is ever growing and becoming rather large, but the task at hand is the Big Show. In a physical encounter between two former tag team partners, it was Kane who came out on top. The final Raw before Night of Champions, this show opens up with a contract signing between Sheamus and David Hart Smith to make their United States title match official for Night of Champions. The two exchange heated words and sign the contract, setting the stage for their highly anticipated clash. R-Truth, Ezekiel Jackson, and Ted DiBiase face off in a triple threat that could potentially move the winner into the United States title picture after the pay-per-view. In an exciting match, Ted DiBiase Jr. was able to pick up the victory. Yoshitatsu and Evan Bourne take on the Big Match Johns for the right to challenge for the tag team titles at Night of Champions. The High Flyers have a tall task ahead of them, but they're not going to back down. The former champs took control early, but in a shocking upset, Evan Bourne is able to hit a shooting star press to score the victory. Randy Orton teams up with Rey Mysterio to take on the duo of Chris Jericho and Edge in a star-studded tag team match. The match is fast-paced with tensions running high between all four competitors. It is unclear who will be in the WWE title match in just a matter of days, so everyone here is looking to impress. D.H. Smith even comes down for a closer look, and Rey was able to get the hot tag to bring Randy Orton in, where he would shut things down, and the team of Rey and Randy Orton take home the victory on this Raw main event. The Miz and CM Punk have a final encounter before their clash at the pay-per-view. The encounter is tense, but does not end in any type of confrontation. Kane takes on JTG in a singles competition. JTG should have known he was walking into trouble, as Kane takes care of business rather handedly, but Drew McIntyre would crash Kane's party and attack him post-victory. Michelle McCool takes on Mickie James in a one-on-one contest. McCool is not happy about losing her women's championship and is determined to get it back. If Mickie James could score a victory here though, she may be able to insert herself into the title match in just 2 days. All in all, Mickie James was able to pick up the win, only furthering Michelle McCool's frustrations. In the main event, Shelton Benjamin teams up with Dolph Ziggler to take on the duo of Vance Archer and Cody Rhodes in a blockbuster tag team match. This match serves as a preview of the action to come at the upcoming pay-per-view, as Benjamin will be defending his championship against all three of these guys, and this tension makes for an interesting main event. Every one of these stars brings something unique to the match, but it is Shelton Benjamin and Dolph Ziggler who come out on top. To kick off Night of Champions, the Women's Championship is on the line in a triple threat match between Mickie James, Michelle McCool, and champion Beth Phoenix. Mickie just defeated McCool 2 nights ago, and Michelle is determined to turn things around and regain her championship. Beth Phoenix has not been beaten since becoming champion, so anything could go down here. In the end, Beth Phoenix was able to stand tall, still champion. The team of Show Miz are set to defend their tag team titles in what will be the first of 2 matches for The Miz this evening. The challengers Yoshitatsu and Evan Bourne have already racked up an upset against the Big Match Johns, but we'll have to see if they can pull off another. Big Show alone outweighs these 2 combined and dominates this match as the tag team champions coast their way to a successful defense. The Intercontinental title is on the line in this next match, a fatal 4-way consisting of Cody Rhodes, Vance Archer, and Dolph Ziggler all looking to take Shelton Benjamin's title away to call their own. Benjamin does not have to be pinned to lose his title, and not only that, but this is a Falls Count Anywhere match as well, creating a hectic and volatile environment. Every competitor had the desire to walk out as champion, but it would be Vance Archer to be the one who leaves the match with the privilege to call himself champion. David Hart Smith steps up to the plate to challenge the dominant Sheamus. The United States champion has beaten down every challenger that has stepped in his way, and is looking to continue that ferocity here tonight. David Hart Smith is determined to dethrone the champ, as well as finally prove to everyone that he is a legit contender for any singles title. This was an incredibly physical match, and Sheamus and Smith were unwilling to call it quits here. Both men delivered signature offense, but neither would give in and allow the 3 count. David Hart Smith just about had things wrapped up until Batista came and interrupted what could have been the winning pinfall. Sheamus would look to take advantage of the situation, but Smith wasn't giving up. Sensing his title reign was in danger, Sheamus would take the coward's way out and get himself intentionally disqualified, taking the loss, but hanging on to his championship in a surprising turn of events. The World Heavyweight Championship is on the line as we see the A-lister, The Miz, challenge CM Punk for the gold. Ever since coming to Smackdown, The Miz has been at the top of his game. While much of that could be attributed to the support of the Big Show at his side, it is undeniable that The Miz has been getting it done in the ring. CM Punk has been champion for much of this universe mode though, and is a formidable superstar carrying plenty of momentum in his own right. The confidence brought upon taking out The Undertaker has elevated The Miz to a state that is hard for anybody to keep up with, though CM Punk's relentless offense was diminishing that confidence bit by bit. In a huge main event for SmackDown, a new champion would be crowned as The Miz took his place as World Heavyweight Champion. And to cap off Night of Champions, Christian puts his WWE title on the line after his victory over Triple H and Edge in a triple threat match to capture the WWE Championship. Christian faces an even steeper challenge, a championship scramble against 4 other formidable competitors. Chris Jericho, Triple H, Edge, and Randy Orton are all vying to become champion once more. Christian and Randy Orton were the 2 to start the match, and tensions were high. Anything can happen in these championship scrambles, and that was evident here. Despite all of the chaos, nobody was able to register a single pinfall, meaning that by technicality it was Christian to come out of this match as the WWE Champion as we end the night. The first Raw following Night of Champions opens up with Randy Orton taking on Evan Bourne. While Orton was chasing the WWE title, he, like 4 others last night, came up short and now has found themselves on the outside looking in, figuring out how they can get back to the main event scene. For Orton, that starts here with a victory over Evan Bourne. David Hart Smith continues his quest for a WWE Championship match at SummerSlam as he takes on Primo in a singles match. However, Batista's looming presence adds an extra layer of tension to Smith's pursuit, but it does not stop Smith from taking the victory here. The main event of Raw will see the Big Match Johns take on the team of Edge and Chris Jericho. These are 2 teams looking to take the spotlight, and a victory here could help them do just that. Ultimately, Edge and Christian pick up a crucial main event victory. To open up SmackDown, Vance Archer is celebrating his new Intercontinental Championship before staying ringside to check out the following match between 2 potential contenders, Dolph Ziggler and Matt Hardy. These 2 put on an exciting match, but it would be Dolph Ziggler to come out on top. Beth Phoenix defends her Women's Championship against Natalya. These 2 may have a solid relationship outside of the ring, but they aren't going to allow that to get in the way of their championship glory. Beth Phoenix would be able to keep Natalya down for the 3 count as she successfully retained her title. The Miz and Big Show take on the Straight Edge Society. CM Punk is unhappy with his loss of the title at SummerSlam and is looking to gain some level of revenge on the new champion here. CM Punk had control of the match until an ominous interruption occurred, which maybe was just a cocky taunt from The Miz, as this afforded the champion an avenue to hit the skull-crushing finale and allow The Miz and Big Show to take home the victory. After the match, The Miz would stay in the ring after the Big Show had left so he could continue gloating about his new world title. To The Miz's surprise, The Undertaker would finally make his return. The dead man appeared out of nowhere to send The Miz to hell before Big Show could return. Monday Night Raw opens up with Chris Jericho taking on Rey Mysterio. No shenanigans in this one, just mano a mano. Both of these men have struggled to establish themselves in the WWE title picture, but that fight continues on in this match. After an exciting contest, Chris Jericho picks up the victory. A tag team battle containing two strange duos in the teams of Shawn Michaels and Zack Ryder clashing with Batista and Tyson Kidd. While these two teams do not have any history teaming together, both units put forth a solid effort to deliver an entertaining match. In the end, Batista would secure the victory for his team. In the main event, D.H. Smith would be going one-on-one with the Game, Triple H. This is an extremely tall task for Smith as he looks to prove himself against a formidable opponent and legitimize his claim to be a top contender for the WWE Championship. Triple H fell short at Night of Champions and is looking to recapture some momentum to place himself back at the top of the WWE title pecking order. Smith has got a big opportunity in front of him, and if scoring a clean pinfall victory over the Game wouldn't earn respect in the locker room, I don't know what will. It was an exciting contest, where D.H. Smith would continue his streak of fine performances, and this one would leave him victorious in a crucial match moving forward. To no surprise, Batista would take issue with Smith's success and attack the competitors after the final bell. Vance Archer defends his newly won Intercontinental Championship against the former champion Shelton Benjamin in a highly anticipated rematch. Benjamin looks to reclaim his title while Archer aims to prove that his victory was no fluke. Archer tried to pull a fast one on Benjamin, but the gold standard stuck around and gave the new champion a fight. After this tactic failed, Archer walked out on the match, leaving no decisive winner. Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio travel over from Raw to challenge Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler in a tag team contest. This is a case of two talented teams looking to get themselves noticed, whether it be together or as singles competitors. One team will take a step forward while the other will remain stagnant. After an exciting match, it would be Orton and Mysterio, victorious once again. The Undertaker makes his return to SmackDown trapped inside a steel cage with The Miz's right-hand man, Big Show. The Undertaker has been out of action for months, thanks to the attack carried out by Show Miz. The Undertaker is intimidating as is, but now he's looking for vengeance, carrying rage that could strike fear into the largest of giants. The Undertaker looked dominant in this return, and would secure the victory after hitting a tombstone piledriver. The final Raw before SummerSlam opens up with Chris Jericho going one-on-one with John Morrison. Jericho and Edge have been taking aim at the tag team titles, and surpassing the former champions is a big step to calling themselves contenders. Morrison and Cena would like to place themselves back into the title picture, so nobody is giving an inch here. It was an exciting contest, but Jericho was able to handle business and get the victory. Sheamus issues an open challenge once again for the United States Championship, daring any competitor to step up and face him for the title. Evan Bourne answers the challenge, eager for an opportunity to dethrone the champion. Sheamus would lock up the victory, but after the match, Randy Orton would emerge and place a challenge to Sheamus for SummerSlam. Looking to regain some momentum after being taken to the limits at the last pay-per-view, David Hart Smith squares off against Batista in a brutal singles match with tensions reaching a boiling point. Both superstars are determined to come out on top and assert their dominance in the WWE Championship picture, but there could only be one. David Hart Smith has fought hard to get back in the title picture, but he's been shrouded in disappointment before. Batista sent Smith through a table and had his sights set on finishing this match. The Batista bomb had been delivered, and this one has got to be over. But not if David Hart Smith has anything to say about it. Smith continued to fight on, hitting a huge power slam and beating the odds as well as the animal. David Hart Smith is going to SummerSlam. To kick off the go-home show to SummerSlam, Vance Archer's Intercontinental Championship is on the line once again as he defends against former champion and former friend, Cody Rhodes. Rhodes was not pleased that Vance Archer was the one to win the title from Shelton Benjamin, and after faking support, Cody Rhodes' envy could no longer be masked as these two duke it out. Neither man was willing to back down, but Vance Archer's reign will continue after he picks up the big victory. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre meet in a no DQ match to determine who will challenge Vance Archer at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title. McIntyre has looked impressive as of late, and Dolph is a talented singles competitor in his own right. It was an exciting match, but the interference by Kane would definitely aid Ziggler as he had no issue taking the easy pin to get the win here. After the match, Kane announced that he will be facing Drew McIntyre in an Inferno match. The Undertaker makes another appearance as he is set to take on CM Punk. While it's pretty obvious that The Miz deserves his comeuppance from the dead man, the Phenom must gain contention to square off with the champ at SummerSlam. In a WrestleMania rematch, a deadly focused Undertaker played no games with the fellow former world champion CM Punk and secured the victory as well as his chance at redemption on The Miz. The Miz begins his double duty as he and partner Big Show are set to defend their tag team championships against the team of Edge and Chris Jericho. The Miz and Big Show have been dominant since they became champions, but Jericho and Edge have been focused on using the tag titles to relaunch themselves into the main event scene. Both teams were looking to impress, but it was Edge and Jericho who were able to isolate Big Show and pick up the win. The Intercontinental Champion is on the line as Vance Archer is set to defend against not just Dolph Ziggler, but Shelton Benjamin as well. Archer has been a busy champion lately, as he's already defended the title twice after winning it just a few weeks ago. But if he wants to remain champion, he is going to have to rise to the occasion once more. Shelton Benjamin is looking for retribution as he lost his title in a multi-man match, and Dolph Ziggler is looking to step out of the tag team scene and into singles glory. Volatile variables and determined competitors made for an exciting match. All three competitors gave everything they had, and after the dust settled, it was Vance Archer walking away as the Intercontinental Champion. Vance Archer would also add an exclamation to his victory after attacking Benjamin post-match. Randy Orton is stepping up to challenge the dominant Sheamus for the United States Championship. So far, there hasn't been anyone who has been able to dethrone Sheamus from his title reign, and outside David Hart Smith, no one has even come close. But maybe the Viper can knock off the Celtic Warrior. That is a task much easier said than done though, as Sheamus is not ready to give up his championship to anybody. However, someone was walking out of this match as the loser. In an exciting contest, it would take not just one, but two RKOs so Randy Orton could finally unseat the dominant United States title run of Sheamus. The Inferno match makes its return to the WWE as Kane and Drew McIntyre aim to settle an extremely personal rivalry. This vendetta has evolved beyond championship glory, and the only resolution lies within the flames that surround the ring. Someone would be severely injured by the end of this match, but both men would be psychologically changed forever. Kane certainly feels at home in this one, but that guarantees nothing as Drew McIntyre has been quite the unstoppable force as of late. However, the Big Red Machine would introduce the Chosen One to hell as he would do what was necessary to collide McIntyre with the flames, ending the match in favor of the Devil's favorite demon. David Hart Smith has finally earned one more opportunity to do what his father, Davey Boy Smith, could never do: capture the WWE Championship. Current champion Christian is not going to make this dream an easily achievable reality though. Christian is determined to remain champion, and David Hart Smith has reached this point just to fall short before. So just because he's gotten here does not mean there will be a guaranteed triumph in store for the young superstar. Christian has truly earned the right to call himself the WWE Champion and has been on his game as of late. Two forces propelled by their current momentum and desire to be champion collide to create an intense match. Christian seemed to be taking control of the contest, but simply could not hit the kill switch if his life depended on it. And David Hart Smith was eventually able to capitalize and hit a power slam, but it wasn't enough. Maybe it's not Smith's time after all. However, a big back suplex would allow Smith to finally realize the dream of not just he, but his entire family. David Hart Smith has finished the story and become WWE Champion. But that's not all. The main event of SummerSlam and the final match of this exercise will place The Undertaker into a Hell in a Cell match with the attacker that caused him to miss multiple months of time, The Miz, who has since become the World Heavyweight Champion. The gold is in fact on the line here, but that's not what The Undertaker is here for. The dead man came out of the gate firing on all cylinders, dominating his opponent and dead set on making the A-lister pay for his actions. The Miz would eventually find a way to implement some of his own offense into the match, but The Undertaker would take the lead of inflicting the long-awaited punishment on The Miz. There's a good chance The Undertaker could have ended this match early on, but his desire to do damage kept this match going. The Miz would somehow find momentum and start chopping away at the dead man, hitting signature offense and then a skull-crushing finale. The Miz went for the pin attempt, but it was no good. Another failed pin attempt, and the frustration was really setting in for The Miz. The Miz then snapped, finding one more chair and just unloading on the Phenom. The champion would hit another skull-crushing finale, and surprisingly, The Miz goes over on The Undertaker on his own, trapped within Hell in a Cell. What a way to end this exercise. Let me know which pay-per-view was your favorite in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.